Hello, welcome back to another episode of working on the community groups app using Ember.js, and thanks for showing up again. As you can see, I have a few improvements to how I'm starting out. I'm trying to do a little slide deck in the beginning, um, and I'm in a new location. So this is my home office. You can say it's still a little bit in the works, but yeah, so today we're going to work on getting some initial data set up for the app. So basically when you start up the app, you have some data to work with. And so we don't have to go back and forth and like sign up the user to log in, we'd have a user already. And then I think we'll also work on doing like a local storage kind of thing where once we log in, we have a little bit of it saves the session so we don't have to log in so many times as we're developing. And we're not going to work on a full authentication thing today, but this will kind of get us so we can fully continue working on the MVP and kind of how everything works together and kind of getting a little piece into place. And then later on, we'll flesh out the authentication part. So yeah, let's get started here. Mouse was frozen there for a second, but we have our app. So we were working on. So you have to do sign up. You put in an email, creates an account, and it takes you to the manage page with the groups. So we created that, and the way that this data comes in is when you sign up, it automatically creates a sample group. But I want to automatically create a user with a sample group so we don't have to sign up, so we can just sign in right away. That'll kind of give us that flow. So let's do that now. So Mirage has this idea of scenarios, which they mention in the factories and the fixture section. So you can pretty much set up fixtures or factories with scenarios. And by default, we have a scenario already created when you install Mirage. So it's called the default scenario. So here, I think they mentioned, let's see. So Mirage scenarios and default. So you can do multiple scenarios, I guess, and you can change them out based. I mean, you can use them in tests, but for us, the default one will be for when the app starts up in development. So let's see what we have here. Looks like you can use either server create or server create list. So I think for us, we're going to, let's see, open this up here, Mirage, scenarios default. Okay, so by default, we're creating 10 churches here. I think I might have initially done this in the beginning. And we don't really need that right now. We're focusing on one church at the moment. So let's open up the models here. Actually, the config, and I think we can copy pretty much everything here, and well, we'll have to create our own user manually with an email. So let's see, body attributes. I think we sent an email. I think that's it at the moment. So we'll do that. So let me just copy this portion here, and let me get rid of this. So let's see. So we don't have a user yet. So we need a user. So I want to create a user. So users. How does the server create, and then you pass in, okay, so you pass in the name. It's pretty much like the schema one. So we can do server create user and then pass in some data. So just an email. And so we'll just do like a test email for now. Let's see how that works here. User equals server.create user, and then pass in an email, test@test.com, something simple. And then, okay, so on that user, we create a church, and for the church, we create a group. I think that works for now. Let's see how. I don't know if we ever set up the login. So the best way to test this would be to do that via the login. So basically we have a user which has a church which has a group. That's the current flow that we have now with the sign up. And so let's see here. So let's sign in. Okay, so we pretty much fake the sign in at the moment. So let's see. Sign up. What's that do? Okay, so we create a user and then we save the user. Okay, so we want to find the user by email. We'll ignore password at the moment, I think. So sign in, does a sign action, and doesn't set anything at the moment. So it's on input equals, so we want to set the email here. Just the email, and that will be value equals target, which is, so off the event on the event there's a target, and then on the target there's a value. So we'll do that so that the value of the input is sent directly to mutate this. So that's good. We'll actually pass the email here. So our sign in gets the email directly. And sign in will be email, and that's a string. And here, I think we can do, so we have a store. Let's just add the store service to the sign in controller here. And we'll make it look similar to this one. And we can import the data. Excellent. Here we shall move this, move that, and I think we might want to just allocate this to the session for now. So we have a sign in. So that probably not the best way we want to do this at the moment, because we want to pass an email here. So we're technically breaking our sign up at the moment, because that just works in a weird way. And then here we want to do query record, I think. User and pass in an email. So that's basically doing a query users by email, and that will give us a user. Reset the user, reset is authenticated. Okay, so sign in will work for us. Email, and did I not make that async? That is async, yeah. Oh, this isn't async. Excellent. And then once it's signed in, if that works, then we transition to manage. We have session here. So or we'll just erase this, make it simpler. Okay, so we broke signup because signup was using the same code here. We didn't have a signup action. So let's fix that as well. Sign up, and that's also an email. And we'll actually do a similar flow to this, but we'll do a sign up flow before we do a sign in. This probably won't be how it's gonna work in the future, but just for now, sign up, and let's define that. And I'll just copy this whole thing here. And we want to do create record. And pretty much looks like that. We don't actually need to do any of this because we're doing the sign in afterwards. So this is kind of so let's do that. So sign up is actually just dedicated. This does a small thing, it just signs you up, and that's it. And then sign in actually finds that user based on the email. So we confirm that we've signed up. And so in this code here, it's going to sign you up. If that works, then it'll sign you in, and then it'll be transitioned. And currently we're not handling the error states for any of these, and that's fine for us. And the next thing, okay, so let's just test this out. This is probably going to fail just because I don't think we have all the Mirage endpoints to handle this scenario. So let me just do that, and then we can do sign in. Technically, this should work with test@test.com, right? Unless the button is not cooked up. Let's see, hold on. Okay, so we don't have, so try to get API/users, email equals to email. So we don't have a route defined for API users again. So let's do that. Let's see. Get users. I'm not sure what the API for that is. Hold on. Schema, let's see. All. I think it's a model. The models have those methods on them. All new is new. Create, find by. Okay, that's what we want. Find by email. And request the query, maybe? Since it's a query program, I don't know if that's the same. Let's test this out. Okay, so what just happened? Can now read property email if undefined. Okay, so let's put a breakpoint here and we'll kind of examine that. And we have, we don't, it's not query. Query params. It's more like using Ember's convention, I guess, instead of like a node convention. Node express. Excellent. Let me just put some new line here. That's simple enough. Let's see. Okay, let's try this again. Excellent. So we sign in and we have a sample group. So now what we want to do is make sure that we stay signed in. So we want to refresh. If we refresh, it'll keep us logged in. We can probably do that with, let's see here. So I probably want to do that in the application route, in the before model hook. Let's see if we can. So actually, we'd want to do, the way I think it would work is you log in, and then it sets a local storage or local session, either one, key with the user's ID, and then we can, let's actually go into service here and we'll do a restore session, and then in here we'll look up the ID and then find the user and then just log in like that. Or maybe we should do, okay, yeah, I don't think we need the email. I think we'll do an ID because I don't want to put the email in there. I think that's kind of revealing some of the data, because in the future, if the user wants to change their email, and then once they do that, their session will no longer be saved. So let's just do that, and then here we'll do user ID, local storage get item user ID. All right, I'll do that camel case. And I mean, we're not handling any error states, or I mean, this would probably break in like Safari incognito mode or private mode, just because local storage doesn't work there. But I mean, this is a temporary solution just to get us moving again. So we have the user ID, and then we get the user, and let's see, store. Okay, so we get the user. Make sure this is a string. And we'll actually check if we have a user ID first. So we're not doing a request for no reason. And then we do a lookup, and if it works, it'll set this. If there's no user, it'll blow up, so it shouldn't reach this portion here. That looks good to me. Let's test it out. I mean, we have to still code the other portion. So if we go into Mirage, actually we can just do it right here, sign in, right? We don't have to go into Mirage. Local. So we just want to set the ID. Set item user ID, and we'll just do user.id. Excellent. I mean, I think that looks very simple. I think this will kind of get you in the right direction. This kind of shows you how some of those add-ons work, like Ember Simple Off, which we'll probably switch to in the future, but just different scenarios like this. But this is more of a simple approach that doesn't take a lot of different scenarios into account, like private mode, which you probably want to fall back to a cookie, or like local storage running out of space, things like that. Just different error states, and I'm sure eventually we will handle those, but let's do that for now. So now we have to call this. Let me just, so we have this route here, and we want to add a service session. Let's see, we can just copy that from one of these here. And the sign in controller, session service. No, it's right here. I guess I had it before. I think we had a before model before. And before model hook, which runs in the beginning of when our application loads, and so this will allow us to load that or restore that session. Restore session. And let's make this async and do a wait here, because we want to have this finish, just because later on we might want to pull in some other data right after we restore in the model hook. So yeah, so let's do that. I think that looks good to me. Let's give that a try. So we want to go back and let's refresh here. Oh, looks like we have an error. What is that saying? You made a find record request for a user with ID null, but the adapter's response did not have any data. Okay, so did we, I think we're not handling a situation here. Let's user ID, if ID, then, oh, because we're stringifying the ID. So let's not do that here. Let's do that in here. And because that was just making null into a string, so you have a null as a string. Again, test.com. Oops. Excellent, we're logged in, and then we can refresh this. There we go. So now we have we have our user automatically logged in. And we don't handle any expiration here. This is just for us to be able to move quickly as we're continuing development here. So I mean, I think that was a good start, and now I think we can continue working on this group concept here. Let's just dive back in here. Actually, one thing I want to do before we do that is handle these. So show, only show these if you're not logged in. And that should be easy enough because we have our session service, and that has an is authenticated property on it. So let's just do that here. Do that here. Let's create a new controller, because we don't have an application controller, and that will let us set the context in the template. We'll just use a generator, and we're using pods here for routes, components, templates and controllers. So we'll do that. So now we have a controller. Let me just copy some of the session stuff here. I'll just pretty much copy this verbatim here. We can trim it. Actually, let's do this part. And we just need to copy the import here. TypeScript is fun, but you have to type a lot more for sure, so I think it's a little tedious sometimes, so copying and pasting is definitely a nice way to do that. I wonder if you do this enough, it's probably worthwhile making snippets that basically do like session service for you automatically or store service. Yeah, so something to keep in mind for the future, I guess. And okay, so now we have session service, and we can use that in our template. And so we can do if this dot session service dot is authenticated. And then we want to do something here. We'll just type in logout. And then we can always flush that out later. And then else shows sign in or sign up. Let's see if that works for us. We'll probably want to do a spanner on this. So it looks the same or similar at least. And we'll do text weight. Oh, not white. It's blue, right? Oh, I think that'll be good enough. It's not the same exact color. Let's go. I actually have a link there for now. So that looks good. We probably want to have a manage route up here as well. So let's do that. We'll just do a couple of these. Put it here. And that will help us to quickly navigate. If we moved away from, there we go. Excellent. And then we can go back here to the main page. So yeah, that's some nice workflow there. And I think I don't want to jump into this today. I do want to implement the logout though. It's just gonna bug me. So let's do that. So this will probably be a button, just because we're doing something and then we're transitioning. So let's do that. Button on click, and then action sign out. I think I want to rename that to sign out instead of logout, just to be consistent with sign up and sign in. And this is button. There might be a certain button reset class. I'll have to check that out. Let's open up Tailwind documentation here. And let's see here. Buttons. So we don't have a sign out link or action yet, so let's just add that here. I think that's correct, and then we'll do oops. And we can do okay. I think that's, and then from there, let's make this async. Transition to index. Actually, yeah. And let's see here. Where's our session? I made it async just because in the future you'll probably want to handle asynchrony in here. But at the moment it'll probably be pretty similar, just deleting this key or setting it to undefined or null. Is there a delete? No. Remove item. That's all it's going to do for now. And let's see here. That looks good. I just need to style this correctly. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, that does not look good. You probably don't want an underline. I mean, actually, that color looks better here anyway. And I mean, we just want a, let's do a darker color when you hover over. So we'll do hover text blue dash dark. Excellent, that looks good. And you sign out, it goes back, but it's still, it looks like it's still signed in. I think we're missing, we didn't set the flag, so we have to reset these. Let's do that. Set that undefined, so this is false. So we do optional. Okay, I think that works. There we go. So that means it could be either user or either set or not set to user. That's better. Okay, so sign in. That works. And then sign out. Excellent. And then if we refresh, it should not be there. Excellent. Let's try to refresh and sign in. Refresh. Looks good. And sign out. Okay, I mean, I think that's a good start in getting some of the authentication stuff a little more polished, even though it's temporary, but it helps us move forward with the rest of the app. And I mean, authentication is very necessary, and our app needs to be very secure. And so that's why I kind of want to do this temporary thing and then go back and spend a good few episodes on something that's more polished and thought out and covers all the edge cases. But at this point, we just want to focus on just building out some of this initial functionality, getting the app a little more usable, getting some more features in there, just so we can continue on with this, and just so, yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a good start where we are. And I think next episode we can work on groups and just fleshing out the group routes and creating a group, and just polishing up the display of the groups. So, well, thank you for coming again. I hope this is useful. Leave any comments or tweet at me at Nonazilia, and I'll try to get back to you. And if you want to see anything or direction or certain topics that you're not sure about, just let me know, and maybe we'll try to fit those in as they apply to this app. But yeah, thanks again. Thanks for coming. And subscribe if you haven't already. And I try to do this weekly. It doesn't always work out just because I've been in transition at the moment. We're moving, and I'll be on vacation next week. But I try to release them weekly. And thank you. See ya.